तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्याचार्याय नचिकेतसे च। दूरमेते विपरीते विशुचि।
दूरमेते विपरीते विशुचि।
अविद्याया च विद्येति ज्ञाता।
अविद्याया च विद्येति ज्ञाता।
What is happening? Where is the text? Yeah. दूरमेते विपरीते विशुचि।
दूरमेते विपरीते विशुचि।
अविद्याया च विद्येति ज्ञाता।
अविद्याया च विद्येति ज्ञाता।
विद्याभीप्सिनं नचिकेतसं मन्ये।
विद्याभीप्सिनं नचिकेतसं मन्ये।
नत्वा कामा बहवो लोलुपन्त।
नत्वा कामा बहवो लोलुपन्त।
Duram means extremely far, far, far away. Very far. So in that far, F-A-R, that A in the far has to have Plutaswara. Far. That is how far. What is Ete? These two. These two are very far. Which two? Nachiketa and Yama. No, they are standing close by. What is very far? What is very far? Shreyas and Preyas. This is the Prakritam. This is what we are studying. Yeah. What has happened today? Where is everybody? Come back. Yeah. So, Shreyas and Preyas. This is what we are talking about, right?
Yes.
Am I mistaken?
No.
No. Okay. We are not talking of apples and oranges. They are not very far. They come under fruit. Correct? Yeah. But here it's different because one comes under the fruit of karma phala and one is yourself. But that one self that one seeks to understand, one doesn't know. And the other one, and therefore one doesn't know this, therefore one becomes a, fruit bat. That's what it is. Goes after fruit all the time. What kind of fruit? Karma fruit. And result of action, oriented. And so, therefore what? Therefore, duramete. Yeah, these two they are like navagrahas. They don't look at each other. Go to the temple. There are these 9 planets. It's very ingenious how they are done because they don't look at each other. Each one faces a different direction. Yeah. But how come there are 9 directions? You go see. See how they do this. Very fascinating, And they're seeing each other's backs, but they're not seeing all the sides. They're not face to face ever. So too, Shreyas and Preyas, one is behind the other. We saw that Shreyas is behind Preyas, and everybody goes for Preyas because it looms large, and poor little Shreyas, it looks little, but it's everything. This one just advertised. This one, Preyas, has spent a lot of time advertising. It has, it's backed by lobbies, literally. Yeah. Lobbies are not backing up Shreyas; they are backing up Preyas, and so it's backed by lobbies. It's backed by all kinds of things, and then it's backed by capitalist advertising. And they will say this is only good for you. And supposing if there is an article in the paper, look at, I'm just looking at the Indian paper. All kinds of things, this many people died, building collapsed. This is what Indian paper is full of. Building collapsed, train derailed, flood washed, and a bus, that a marriage party bus. I don't know why it's always a marriage party bus. Got overturned. These are all mostly natural calamities. Here, of course, the paper is full of gunshots. Somebody shot somebody and all these things. So like this, all the Indian paper will have this. And then in the middle page, two columns, sometimes only one column, something spiritual. And that too, they think it is spiritual, whatever it is. Something, it is called some introspective, column. And there they will say, path to enlightenment, paths to enlightenment. Has so many paths, because everywhere even they have to give choice. Here is Shreyas, which has come under the spell of prayers, so to speak. Not Shreyas, but the topic connected to, somewhat that could be connected to Shreyas. That is advertised. Sometimes prayers masquerades as Shreyas. Paths to enlightenment. For the active, what is that? Karma paths. Because they cannot sit quietly. Karma path. For the passive, what? Sleep path. For the introspective, jnana path, knowledge path, because they are passive. And then for the, yoga, another Raja Yoga path, and Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, this path, that path, sociopaths, psychopaths, all kinds of things. And so making it into some, again, it's very commercialized. But even then, even though it's talking about spirituality, it's like a small little column in this whole paper which symbolizes how, symbolizes the disconnect. And even though we may think that this is a characteristic, a lakshana of the times that we are living in, not. Because you see when this was, when this was channeled was perhaps, at a time when there was, definitely at a time when there were very few distractions, much fewer than what we have now. Without smartphone, without all these things, still the sages saw. That's why this knowledge is so timeless. It's totally timeless. Duramete, they have always been, back to back. Or Shreyas hiding behind prayers masquerading as all in all. And they are totally different from one another. So continuing the praise of Nachiketa, Lord Yama, that's why he is so impressed that such a small boy offered prayers on a platter, Prakshipitavanasi, you have thrown it all away. Prakshiptavanasi, you have completely thrown it away. And that's what he said earlier. Atyasrakshihi, you've thrown it away. So Kshipta, thrown, completely you have thrown it away. Which even people who have been born again and again, means the same quote unquote old soul, recycling through Lord Yama's net and getting entangled in it repeatedly, even they don't understand. And this is the way of the world. And there is extreme caution given here. These are all verses, mantras of caution. For whom? Because obviously this is not, this is making a fact. But this is not directed towards those people who are never going to come to class. Because why talk about that? This is not good, but this is not directed to the people who are in malls and balls. This is not for them. This cannot be for them. Why? Because when are they going to even come across this Duramete, Viparite, Vishuchi? How are they even going to understand it? Because they are not even going to come to look at this. So, Yama is preaching to the choir, definitely. The Upanishad herself is telling this for the people who are already in this room. And in a way it seems redundant, because I have brought myself here, with great difficulty I have come. I have brought myself here and I am sitting here, and so that should account for something. And then here you are telling me, Duramete viparite vishuchi. I know that. Why are you telling me this? It could seem redundant. On the other hand, it is also makes one feel good. Correct? It's not a statement that is redundant. He's praising Nachiketa, and all the mumukshus who have brought themselves thus far are also praised. There is also a cautionary overtone in this particular mantra and the one that is going to come after this. In these next three mantras, there's a kind of a cautionary overtone that's going to be lighting up these mantras. And what is the caution? That having worked so hard to get here, don't lose it. That is the caution. Because, you yourself know. I mean, people know how hard they have to work to make the time for this kind of a study, to take the time to be blessed with an extra push of grace, to have what it takes to get to this point of exposing oneself to the teaching. Sometimes, sometimes with great difficulty, and sometimes one is blessed to have this in one's life. Whatever the situation may be, it's very easy. It comes very easily to take this blessing for granted. Yeah. There is that little slip. Oh yeah, class is always there. So what if I don't go? That is the feeling. Nothing. So what means what? Nothing. And this is the whole thing. There is a certain way in which each time one is in the knowledge, each situation of the exposure to the teaching, and that's what is going to be said after 2 verses. In the 7th verse, this is going to become very clear. We are now in the verse number 5? 4, yeah. In 3 verses, it's going to become very clear. And here, this, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, in 4 verses, it's going to become very clear that there is an extra grace operating here. Whenever one is in a situation of Shravanam, the teaching, listening to the teaching. Because there are a lot of pratibandhas. Pratibandhas means blocks. What kind of blocks? I mean, need I count the ways? What kind of blocks? Everybody knows. Everybody knows what blocks there are. Many slips between ear and lip. Yeah. Not cup and the lip, because this is a Shravana situation. Between the ear of the student and the mouth of the teacher, lips of the teacher, there is a slip, there is a block. And those blocks are so many. Sometimes the ear duram ete, karne. These ears are too far away, correct? Why? Because they couldn't get here, or for whatever reason, couldn't get to the situation. Sometimes ears ears say, I am here. Mind is not here. Mind is powering the ears. Mind is gone. Ears are here, they are present. You can count 1, 2, they are here. They say present, twice they say. But they are not, the mind is elsewhere. Mind is also here, but the mind is not liking this verse. Yeah, why? Because it's, Yeah, because it has been triggered, stimulated, and it sits up and says, I don't agree. I don't like this verse. I just don't like it, period. There's no reason. Why don't you like it? Why I don't like it? Why I have to sit and give you explanations? I'm not going to. This is it. Go away. And then sometimes the mind is there, ears are there, and hearing is also taking place, and one is enjoying also, but then there are certain other blocks that come. What kind of blocks? Adi Bhautika blocks. What is an Adi Bhautika block? The surroundings, too hot, too cold, something, don't like the person sitting next to me, and all kinds of problems come. When instead of focusing on what is being taught, one is, in anger in the class, sitting and seething in anger because they don't like the interior decor of the classroom. Ayyo, what to do now? They don't like the color on the walls. Ayyo Rama. That's all you have to say. You just have to invoke the Lord at such drastic situations. What else can we do? And therefore, this is something, this is called Adi Bhautika block. Because one came with good intentions, one came with a mind that was ready to learn, and one is interested in learning also. And then what? It is replaced by either distractions, anger, absence, whatever, so many things. Adhyatmika block, I don't like this verse. In fact, I don't like Kathopanishad. Somebody told me this. I like only Kenopanishad. I don't like Kathopanishad. Why? Well, what Yama and so morbid and yeah. And then another person said, we should study Mandukya. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Of course, every Upanishad deserves to be studied. No, I'm not done. Okay. We should only study Mandukya. Kathopanishad too basic. It's for bachas, babies. Balas. Kathopanishad, it's just... It was channeled by sages in their babyhood. The gu, ga, ga of the sages is equal to duramete viparite vishuchi. So therefore, this is nothing. We have to say Ayamatma Brahma. We have to go straight to the Mahavakya. This is what it is. These are all real life examples I'm giving. People said that. And people say that, after the first class, 2 classes, third class person did not come. I encountered the person somewhere, in some situation. I said, are you okay? Is everything all right? Yes. I didn't say, why aren't you coming to class? I just thought there must be some reason. It's okay, no problem. The person volunteered. Well, I came to 2 of your classes. I said, yes, I remember. Still I didn't ask anything. Again volunteered. Well, the thing is, you didn't teach Mahavakya in 2 classes. You didn't teach Mahavakya. So therefore, I said, what's the point? Because the point of Upanishad is Mahavakya. And if Mahavakya is not there, then why to go? Yeah. That's why Kathopanishad must not be studied, only Mandukya. These are all duramete. From what? From this vidya. These kinds of thoughts, this Mundaka should not, Mandukya should be studied, Kathopanishad should not be studied. These dyads, these 2 are what? Far away from what we are talking about. And so, this is kind of a caution in a way. Yama telling Nachiketa is already there, so why does he have to know that, people don't come, people are so, resistant to this knowledge, or people are not even aware that such a thing is there to be understood. There are 2 reasons. One is to praise the vidya, to praise the knowledge, to see, not that the knowledge needs to be praised, but it's an incentive for the person, for the newly found mumukshu in one, to keep those fires burning. It's an incentive to know that this knowledge is very rare. Because the mumukshu gets disheartened very quickly. Yeah, this is what happens. Why only me? Before mumukshutvam, what was the question person was asking? Why me? In relation to samsara. Why me? Why me? Why this is happening to me? Why me? Me. And then after coming to this knowledge also, why only I am coming to the class? Why not other people are coming? Meaning, what's wrong with this knowledge? What's wrong with me? And if something is, and if something is not wrong with me, then maybe it's the knowledge. If the knowledge also is supposed to be sacred, Upanishad, oh, it's the teacher. Yeah, this is the whole kind of a situation. And these are the kinds of situations that can easily break the very, fragile connection to the knowledge and make the mind spin. And not only does the mind spin, but the eye goes spinning behind the mind. It's like catching the tiger's tail. The mind is like a tiger's tail. You catch it and you feel good. I have conquered. And then who has conquered who, when the tiger goes on the run. As long as the tiger is sitting, it's okay. Once it starts to run, if you leave it, what will happen? It will quickly make a U-turn. Yes. And it knows how. Yeah, it's not like, a limousine making a U-turn. It's very lithe and it knows how to make U-turn immediately. U-turn means what? It will turn against you. That's what it is. Because it has a good memory. It has a very uncomfortable memory of its tailbone being yanked, and it taking off in hot pursuit. And that offending creature that dared to do this, it knows. And, it has also felt insulted. Insult and injury together, it is going to avenge. This is what is going to happen. So too, in the beginning one thinks, oh, this mind is nothing, a little distraction, no problem, a little annoyance, I'll just follow it and see. And then what? It takes a hold of you. That's why the eye has to be kept in a state of spiritual asangatvam, a certain kind of a spiritual non-involvement with everything else, especially the mind. A state of spiritual purity, if you will. That is what amounts to asangatva. So, iterating this fact once more, emphasizing this, underscoring this fact, Lord Yama starts with the word duram, very far away. Ete, these two, what these two? Shreyas and prayas, these two. He's not talking of items in Yamaloka. He's talking of Shreyas and prayas. Extremely far apart from each other they are. One thing to be far apart, okay. All you have to do is bring them closer. Hello Shreyas, meet Prayas. Hello Preya, meet Shreya. You can say that. But they are also viparite. Not only far apart, but headed in opposite directions. Like even the similar poles of a magnet. The North Pole and the South Pole, they will glom on together, and hold very big things. You can hold the galaxies together. In fact, that's how they are held together. This whole gravitational force, everything, this is that in the solar system and in everything, all these things are held together by the magnetic force. There is a magnetic force. Even the body has an electromagnetic force. That's why when you touch something in the winter, you go bzzz. There's an electric force, there's a magnetic force that is specific to the body, just like that, what is that? That pH. So every body has a certain magnetic force, and so everything is like a magnetic force. And magnetic force is twofold. One is the force of attraction and then repulsion, equally. And Shreyas and Prayas are on that opposite side of the repulsion. You put them together, they just shoot off in different direction. Duramete viparite. All dual. Yeah. Viparitam viparite. Phalam phale, like that. Etam, ete, duram, and then duram and viparite. They are also opposite. What are these things we are talking about? Vishuchyau, it should have been also in dual, but Vishuchi. Vishuchi has come from a strange, sounding word called Vishvanch. Yeah, these are one of these words which, they, in a way, they are the grammarian's bane, because they are kind of directional words like paranch, pratyanch, vishvanch, all these, and then they decline separately, differently. Lots of sandhis, parak, like that, it declines, paranch, and then all these rules and everything. So vishvanch actually means many things. Vishvanch here means like a direction. It literally means direction. The way, route, Vishvanch, direction, meaning in different and opposite directions both these are going. And Vishuchi is a kind of a derivation from this Vishvanch, feminine derivation, Vishuchi. It also interestingly means other things like sickness, such as like an epidemic like cholera, one of the rare meanings of Vishuchi. So it's like it kind of fits here, even it's almost like a pun, even though that's not the intended meaning. But as far away as an epidemic, how far you have to stay from an epidemic, that's how far away these two are. Shreyas does not go near the epidemic called preyas. And preyas is like an epidemic, because one person has it, it is catching. I mean, it's a very far-flung meaning. But when I was, looking up this word Vishvanch, I could not help seeing that it meant cholera. And it's not that it applies here, but it's interesting to think about here as a pun, more as fun, as an Upanishadic pun. Upanishad has a very tongue-in-cheek sense of humor, and sometimes there are these punning, word plays that happen. When an interesting word play, Vishuchyau, the preyas thinks Shreyas is an epidemic and keeps away. Like, oh my God, if I go to one class, I'll keep going to many classes. No, let's not even go to the first one. And Shreyas says, oh my God, let me quarantine myself from this. This is what the whole thing is, viparite. And viparite means they cannot talk to one another. They cannot be around one another without one gobbling the other. That's the idea. That's where this whole Vishuchi comes, without becoming a casualty of this epidemic. They cannot be around one another. They are not attracted to one another. And in fact, one attracted to the other, if one is attracted to one is repulsed by the other. Same thing with the two paths here, Shreyas and Preyas, derived from the word Vishvanch, Vishuchi, Vishuchyau. It should have been dual, which means path, route, direction. And so these two paths are so opposed to one another that it even goes for the adherents of the two paths, that adhering one, they will be repulsed by the other. So the paths and the adherents go in keeping with the paths themselves. The paths are opposed to one another, the adherents of one are opposed to the adherents of the other. And Lord Yama says, let's give these two a meaning. Let's call them for what they are. I mean, for now, we have been calling them Shreyas and Preyas, giving them fancy names. Yeah, and Preyas comes from, that which is loved. Yeah, Priyatara, not tama. Tara. Tara means what? Yeah, this is better, not best. Yeah. Jayas, like that. Ishtan is the best, and then the other one is this better. Yes and Ishtan. And so, just like Tarap and Tamap, there is another kind of a derivation. Tarap Tamap is easier to use and decline also. But this Jayas and then Jyeshtha, and then he says Jayasi chet karmanah te mata buddhir janardana tatkin karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava. Oh Krishna, if you think Jayasi chet, if you think Jayas means which is better, if you think this is better, why are you asking me to do this? So Preyas is from that, it means Priyatara. It doesn't mean Priyatama. I told you, it's always better, 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 and you become addicted to better. Remember, Betty bought a bit of butter. And then what happened? But the bit of butter was bitter. So what did she do? She bought another bit of butter to make the bitter butter better. So it's all about bettering one situation, by buttering it constantly. And constantly bettering, never besting. Bettering. Because the best is Shreyas. Yeah. So this Priyatara, it was seen as something that is better. But now, Lord Yama says it's now time to call it by their real names. This was just the beginning. Kind of a little velvet cushion and a hanky for people just coming into the class. Hanky has many purposes. You can fan yourself. One can wipe off the, tears or the sweat that accumulates on the brow when one thinks of prayers and how tiring it is. So the hanky was provided, a little cushion was provided to show that, okay, prayers, little bit better, but this is the best. So that the adherents and the followers of prayers do not feel too bad. They don't feel too bad. They find themselves, so I am okay, but this is better. But now time has come. After Nachiketa has been tested, after everything, the teaching is progressing. The teaching is, going from a simmer to a sizzle. So the little heat is, everything is now warm and it's cooking. Yeah, it's making noises and cooking. And what is cooking? Avidya. So let us call Shreyas and Preyas by their real names. And that is what the third line says, that Preyas is Avidya. This is what is this now? The unveiling of their true names. The Namakaranam has been done. Preyas is Avidya, Shreyas is Vidya. Jnata. Jnata means those that are understood. Vidya and avidya, iti jnata, jnata means, jnata means known, ascertained, named by whom? Jnaninai, jnanin, by the jnanina, by the jnani, by the panditas, panditaihi, shastrajnaihi, by the people who know the shastra. And by the jnanis and by the pandits, it has been jnata, ascertained. Jnata here doesn't mean known. Ascertained, named. As what? Shreyas is equal to avidya, correct? Shreyas is equal to avidya. Preyas is... No. Yes. Shreyas is vidya, knowledge. Preyas is avidya. What is avidya? Total ignorance. So, meaning the adherents, what are the adherents? What are they called now? The adherents of Shreyas are called Vidyarthis because they are asking for this Vidya, correct? And adherents of Preyas are called, the followers of Preyas are called what? Avidyarthis or Mudhas or Ajnanis, because only where there is Ajnanam, there is Preyas. Ajnanam and Preyas, unlike the opposite poles of the magnet, they attract. Preyas has a way of attracting Ajnanis, and Ajnanis have a way of going towards Preyas. Ajnani means the one who, not the one without self-knowledge, the one who has no interest in pursuing this self-knowledge. That is the one. The one who has no interest in even exploring the possibility that there may be something else other than this. This meaning what? Preyas. So, avidya cha vidya cha iti jnata jnanibhihi panditaihi shastrajnaihi. What? And then, so now having characterized these two, he says, you are on the side of Vidya. Vidya abhipsin. Yeah. Abhipsin. Ipsa, desire. Abhitaha, ipsa, an all-round desire, an immediate. Abhitaha has a kind of a sense of immediacy. Like right now, right here, everywhere. Like that. So, abhitaha ipsa asya asti iti abhipsin. And so, the ipsa is there for such a person, that person is abhipsin. And abhipsinam, second case, meaning the object of abhipsa, the one you are, his you is a karma here. Karma prayoga is the second case, object. I consider Nachiketa, you. He uses the second, he uses the third person, but he is using the second case because it's a karma. Even though he is not referring to Nachiketa directly, it's almost like he is declaring to the world that this Nachiketa stands out as a adherent of Shreyo Marga, as a Vidyarthi, same thing, Arthin, Abhipsin, same thing. Vidya Abhipsinam, Nachiketasam, second case again, Nachiketaha, and then second case Nachiketasam, Manye. Manye means what? Man, to think, to consider, but here it's not about considering. Yeah, even though it means to consider, we have to carefully consider the meaning here of the word consider. What is generally considered? It's more like opinion, Here it's not opinion, it's a fact. Even in Bhagavad Gita we encounter this. Me matam. Jnani tu atma eva iti me matam. Jnani tu atma eva me matam. Bhagavan says, the jnani is myself alone. I consider in my consideration. It's not about consideration. Oh, I think I consider this day to be wonderful, one person says. Oh, I consider this day to be too hot, another person says. I consider oatmeal to be the best breakfast. This is not about opinions of various raga dveshas and considerations based on likes and dislikes and considerations based on subjectivity. Even though whenever Bhagavan uses the word me matam, in my opinion, it's not an opinion. Here also manye, I consider, I think. It's not what Yama thinks. It's a fact. It's just put that way, that's all. Because Yama is an exalted individual. So his consideration is equal to a fact. Just like Bhagavan's consideration is also a fact. And it's not someone's opinion. Because otherwise you can say, I have a better opinion. But whenever you use the word better, prayers, it's already, there. Now, so vidyabhipsinam nachiketasam manye vai natva kamaha tvam kamaha, all these kamas. What is a kama? Prayers based desires. Bahavaha kamaha, all these millions of kamas. Where were these kamas? Offered by Lord Yama. These kamas, bahavaha alolupantaha. Alolupantaha means, many kamas. Alolupantaha means did not swerve you. From lump to cut. Lumpati, cuts. So they did not cut you off. From what? From Vidya Marga, from Shreyas, from what is now going to be called as, Vidya Vishuchi, that direction of Vidya, that commitment, that pursuit, that extra mile that one has to go to make oneself in a place of learning. Not once, until it becomes a habit. Until one has to deliberately pursue the knowledge, until it becomes a discipline at first, and the discipline becomes a habit, and one cannot even envisage not pursuing the knowledge. That is what one has to do. And this is what is the difference between a kadachit kaha. Who is a kadachit kaha? Kabhi kabhi wala. Yes, sometimes I'll come, when I feel like I'll come. Duryodhana type student. If I feel like I'll come, if I don't feel like I'll come. Today raga predominant, I will not come. Today dvesha predominant, I will not come. Tomorrow despair predominant, nothing happened. After 2 vallis of Kathopanishad, therefore I'm definitely not going to come. This is what is called kadachit kaha. The one who allows the mind to reign over the ragadveshas, and ultimately the desires reign over the appearance in the classroom or over the pursuit of the knowledge. This is what it is. And people always say, I'll catch up online later. Like already one is playing catch up in one's life. Catch up on the daily activities, catch up on this, catch up on that, and too much catch up makes you catch up. That's all, That's all it is. You can't catch up. You think you will, and you have the idea to catch up, but that catching doesn't happen. One is caught by the catching up. That's all it is. The whole life is busy playing catch up. And one becomes, like a pressed tomato, one becomes ketchup. That's all happens. Nothing happens. You can't play catch up with this. So this is all tales one tells oneself, What is why should I do this? Why should I do that? These are all like a little caution, because Nachiketa is being praised, and so are all of us here being praised. At the same time, the praise is laced with a certain a caveat of how easy it is to become lolupanta. Alolupanta means we come under the spell of something or the other. It may not be desires, that take one away, but it's some pratibandhas that take one away. And this is what is always safeguarded. And this is saying that he praises him. So, and introducing this, Adi Shankara says, Tayoho Shreyaha Adadanasya Sadhu Bhavati Hiyate Arthad Ya Upreyo Vrinite Ityuktam Tas Kasmad Yataha. Meaning that, why was it said in the last one? Last mantra, last line, look, you know, not the last one, the one before. Number 2, look what was said in number 2. Shreyo hi, hiyate artha, no, number 1. Hiyate arthat, because there were 2 discussing Shreyas and Preyas. Hiyate arthat yau preyo vrinite. The last line of the first mantra is being reiterated in the Bhashya to introduce this, saying that this is connected to the first mantra. So Duram ete, it's not 2 things that are far away. What are they? That's why everybody was taken aback when I said what is being talked about. So he connects it back to the first mantra and says Shreyas and Preyas are being talked about. Hiyate arthat ya upreyo vrinite. The one who chooses prayers, what happens? Slips away from the true meaning of life, from the true understanding of what is what. From the true pursuit, one slips away. Hiyate is it falls away. Why is that said? Is given, the reason is given here. Tayoho, of the 2, Shreyaha adhadanasya sadhu bhavati. Whereas if one chooses Shreyas, one becomes a sadhu bhavati. No. I mean, there is auspiciousness, and we saw this all in detail. At least I saw this. And then, we all saw this, right? And then, what happens to on the other side, the one who chooses prayers, is, like climbing a rock that can never be conquered, keeps slipping away. There is one Greek character called Prometheus. Prometheus, what he did was he had a curse, some kind of a curse, that this big rock he will put up the mountain all night long. So he's rolling the rock, rolling the rock, rolling the rock, and even if he sits down for a rest, that rock he has to keep supporting, because otherwise it will do this, and he has to take it to the mountain top all night long. And then what happens? In the morning it comes cascading down. This is prayers. Hiyate, then start all over again, rolling the rock up the mountain. And so he says this is referring to this alone. Duramete viparite vishuchyau. It's like there are 2 roads. If vishuchi means road, we have to wax eloquent on this for a little while. There are 2 roads. Somebody wrote a poem, The Road Not Taken, which is always alluring. Yeah, except in the case of Shreyas. Every other time it seems alluring. What kind of roads? Crossroads. Yeah, crossroads means they are crossed with each other, with viparite. They don't look at each other, they just divergent paths. Crossroads means divergent paths. 2 roads are there. One of them looks very interesting to most people. One of them has some booths. Booths? Stalls. Selling muffins, apupaha, and apupaha, cakes, muffins, eatables. And then on the right hand side of this road, as far as you can see before it curves, both of them bend. One bends this way, one bends that way. I told you, divergent paths. And this one has cakes and pastries on one side, and on the other side it's a hot day. It has a very cool looking ice cream stand, lemonade and a drink, cool drink and ice cream stand. And then what? It has some lanterns and colored lights, as far as the eyes can see. And then one juggler is performing some, what is that? Some apples in the air, juggling apples and oranges in the air. Wide priorities. And then what? And then you can also see, all people dressed up along with their family going. And then if you arch your neck a little bit, not to the point where it needs a chiropractor, but just short of that point. And then you see there is a giant wheel. What is that called in this country? Ferris wheel. Yes. And this is taking all the people up and down. And some people are saying wheel. Yeah, they should be saying wheel, but the L is silent here. Because of jubilation, the silence happens. And then there are all these little stalls and booths which says, you have these three things to hit the coconut, and then all the nuts have lined up to hit the coconut, and then that coconut is kept in such a way that it's statistically impossible to hit. And then there is all these alluring looking gifts for the people who hit the coconut even once, and there are all these people hitting their heads to hit the coconut. Then if you arch your neck a little more, there is a swing, a kind of a wonderful big swing in the air with all the jivas saying, ah, ah, ah. Whether they are thrilled or crying, it's hard to make out from the sound. Are they crying or are they laughing? What are they doing? Well, really speaking, it's a mixture of both. And then there is, all lots of color, and children holding those, what is that thing? There is some...
Cotton candy.
No, not cotton candy. This one spins. You hold it towards the wind.
Pinwheel.
Pinwheel, yes. And then it's got various colors and these glinting things, sequins and everything. And then they hold it towards the wind and it just spins and they are thrilled. Others are holding balloons, the kind that lift you up. Yeah, sometimes the balloons, if they hold more than one, if small child will hold 3 or 4, it will go up. First balloon ride, unintended. And then if you crane your neck a little further, then there is another little, what is that, show happening. Some sudden spontaneous entertainment. Suddenly started, fire eaters, they are going, and everybody is going, And if you don't like fire eaters, that act is followed by knife eaters, something they have to eat, Knife eaters. And this fellow is downing blades and knives and kitchen knives and everything is going in. From small little army knife to big kitchen knife, everything the fellow is downing. And must be a trick, but we don't know how it is done. And the fire eater also must be a trick. All this you see, and then if you look further, there is also this, this ring where people can come, like a little stage where people can come and share their talents. So somebody comes and stands and sings, Tishtan Gayati, stands and sings, and another one fans, another one, performs, and third one dances, and they showcase. It's a little impromptu stage for the people to showcase their little sitar or guitar and everything. Anyhow, and children, balloons, families, and the only thing about this is that, so many people, everybody seems to be going there. Lots of people are going there. So there is safety because so many people, it's a family situation, it's wonderful. And then you say, okay, now I have delineated this road, this one, going on the right hand side. And this is all the lovely things that it can offer. Let me look at the other road, because naturally I have to make a choice. The other one is a bare road. Quiet. Here it's full of shrieking and, all kinds of, delights are being shrieked. Kola, cacophony. There's all kinds of, people talking and people saying, ee, all these things. So many things are happening. And there it is like pin drop silence. The only thing you hear is pins dropping, and pins are not dropping, so you don't hear anything. Quiet road. And then you look a little further, where are the people? This itself makes you suspicious, correct? Yeah. Maybe there's a ghoul sitting on the other side, waiting with its jaws open, and maybe it's a cursed road, And then when after the eyes acclimate, because it's so lonely compared to this is full of lights, fans, fanfare, everything is there. Fans as in the people who are, into that. Proverbial, don't think of fans. Yeah. So, where are the people here? And after your eyes acclimate from seeing the other road, then you see 1 or 2 people in orange, quietly going. This is what it is. They're not talking to each other, they're not talking to anyone, they're not talking to themselves. At least that would have been comforting, but they're not even talking to themselves. You don't even know what they're thinking, and they are just quietly going about their day. And the road seems, no distractions, no, what is that called? Entertainment. Nothing to spice up this road. This is how the two roads are. And of course they are curving in, and you think maybe the first bend is not good. Maybe after that the entertainment starts. You look, and then you feel a crick, a bend in the neck, and therefore you stop looking. And then you cannot see beyond the first curve. And here also, you cannot see beyond the first curve. And you have to make a decision. Which one are you going to go on? Which side are you going to take? Which side are you on? Because you can't take both. You cannot say 1 foot here, 1 foot there. You will be quartered, at least halved, if not quartered, because they go this way. Imagine what will happen to the body if you follow both. Horrible. Yeah. So therefore you can only go on one. Can I go on this one and then take a shortcut and come back? No, you'll have to come back this way. Come back this way means what? Going through the snares of Lord Yama. That's what it is. Yeah, it's a long way back. There is no, hopping, because there are mountains and all kinds of things barricading the two Vishu Chiaos. Vishu Chiao is enough. YS. Yeah, Vishu Chiao, that's already dual. These two roads, are like the plague. They don't touch one another. They don't even look at one another. They are unaware of each other totally. They don't talk to one another. Purvatra asiddham. This one doesn't exist in the light of the other one. So then what to do? How are we going to do this? Kim kartavyam? Which one to follow? What is the basis? The basis is what you just see up to the first curve. Naturally, you're going to choose the one on the right, which has so much fanfare, so many people. This is the human natural tendency to choose that one. Correct? And it seems like if I have to go on a road, this life is a weary road. What is another poet wrote? Miles to go before I sleep. And vipsa, repetition. Miles to go before I sleep. Frosty Road, Robert Frost. Very great. And also they have very nice meanings. The last one is the final sleep and the first one is the intermediate, whatever, weariness of life. And describing this weariness, meaning that some road you have to take. You can't stand in the crossroad, that's not an option. Jiva means road you have to take. Jiva means you're alive, you have hands and legs, some road you have to take. You keep walking, you keep going. You're keeping on, you're being led anyway. But here some choice is there. A semblance of choice is there. And there is a need to choose also, because there are two possibilities, or what look like two possibilities. And so natural it is to make the, error of going for the bright, for the glittery, for the road paved with gold, for the road that looks safe with all the people and the children and the, people there, teeming millions of them. And rare is the one who will choose this road, not inhabited even by half the people. This is what it is. And then if you ask people, how do you make the choice? You ask people who are also other travelers who are sitting there, standing there, buying tickets at various, counters of experience. And so you ask them, have you been on this? No, don't go there. Look, why do you want to destroy yourself? Come here. No, but that is the road frequented by sannyasis, and that is the road to spiritual growth. No, this is the shortcut. They will tell you this. This is the shortcut. In India, whenever they say this is a shortcut, don't take it. Really. Shortcut is just cut. That's all. Yeah. Cut short. Your plans will be cut short by the so-called shortcut. There is no shortcut. One time that's what happened. I was with Pujya Swamiji and somewhere we were going, he was going to look at something and I was there. And then they said that we came across a crossroads and they said take this one because this is a shortcut. Oh, it went on and on and on and on and went this way, went that way, and then we asked them, no way to come back this side. You have to go back all the way. Yeah. Miles out of touch totally from civilization. It went somewhere and, spat the car out in a place where nobody was even there to ask anything, and then they said, you've made a big mistake. Spend the rest of the day. So all the plans were cut short by this so-called shortcut. And prayers is not the shortcut. No, but can't I lead a family life and also enjoy the coconut shy and the, what else is there, the little teddy bears and all the other things on this, Mickey Mouses, people dressed as Mickey Mouse and dancing and all these things. Can I not enjoy that along with the knowledge? Isn't that what the Bhagavad Gita also says, that the two can be done at once? No. Again here it says that is a wrong understanding. If that's what one has understood, it behooves one to correct this understanding. Here also it says, ekena purushena, anushtanam na sambhavaha. It's not possible for one person to follow both of them yugapat simultaneously. But isn't what the Gita says, you enjoy your family life and then you pursue the knowledge? That is not what the Gita says. Gita says for those people who are afraid to go on the left Vishuchi, then what you have to do is, you commit. It's not even you're afraid to go there. Means what? That you still commit to it. You commit to it. The path on the left hand side, even though you see some orange looking people, it is not a path of, what's the word? It's not so much a path as much as a committed lifestyle. That's what we have to see. It's a mistake to think that prayas is equal to karma yoga and shreyas is equal to jnanam. No. Karma yogis are also shreyorthis. This is what we have to understand. Only when you want shreyas can you become a proper karma yogi. It's not that I have my family life and then slowly, if Bhagavan is meant for me to have the knowledge, I'll have a guru, and if Bhagavan is meant for me to have the knowledge, I will get the knowledge. If that is your attitude towards your next meal, I will take that excuse. But people will just spend 5 hours cooking and then what? And then say, if I'm meant to have this knowledge, let Bhagavan come. Say the same thing for your next meal. Then I will say, all right, it is fair enough. You can't invoke Bhagavan for one thing and then use your free will for another thing simultaneously. So here, even though one is a path of knowledge and the other is a path of kevalam karma, in terms of our understanding the path of knowledge, we have to see this as the one who is preparing is also included in the path of knowledge. Path of knowledge here, we are not talking of lifestyles. That is what Bhagavad Gita is talking of, lifestyles. Here we are not talking of lifestyles. Here we are talking of commitment. In that sense, Shreyas and Prayas we have to understand differently than the Bhagavad Gita, even though we are looking at paths. That's why the word Vishuchi, I am taking some time to explain. Even though we are looking at paths and divergent paths, it cannot be Karma Yoga. The right hand side one, which is full of fun things to do, is not Karma Yoga. Why? It is the Kevalam Karma Marga. Kevalam Karma, it's a Marga whose Lakshana is Kevalam Karma. It's only Karma. It's not Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means you're already on this side. That's what one has to do. One is already this side. Meaning what? I am preparing my mind I continue to lead my life, and whatever I have to do, I continue to do, but with a difference. I'm not doing it for the sake of getting some reward, karma phala, but I'm doing it for as a way of preparing myself for the knowledge. So I learn to do it prayerfully, despite my resistance and fears and desires. I learn to do it prayerfully and with a feeling, a sense of acceptance, so that I can grow to gain this clarity. At the same time, I'm listening to the Shastra. That is Karma Yoga. So if you're a Karma Yogi, don't say, I'm going to go through this. No. These are two divergent. Karma Yoga is not divergent to knowledge. Karma Yoga is a way of preparing for the knowledge. So this includes the sannyasis and the adherents of Karma Yoga as well. Which one? The left hand side, so-called lonely road. It is not lonely. It is only. Yeah, you have to take the L away. Yeah. Yeah. Few other things. But anyway, so you have to, it is not lonely. It's the only way. The other one is not really a way. Because if you keep going on that, beyond that curve, is a big dead end. You have to come back. And Lord Yama will greet you. Yes, with a net. And then next life, spat out again into prayers. Come back. Lord Yama greets you. Didn't I see you this before? Are you still here? Yeah, you grin. Yama also returns the smile. Some pleasantries are exchanged. Back in the bag, Yama's gunny sack. And then back, spat again into prayers. That is the kind of thing. Don't confuse these two paths for Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Those are two different lifestyles. Here we are not talking of lifestyle. Here we are talking of two kinds of ways. One in which the knowledge of the self doesn't even appear as a possibility, stuck as one is in the searching for the better. Stuck as one is in a samsara that is called a life of searching for the better, a life of becoming, a becoming life, a wanting life. Whereas the other one is the quest, the same quest which is directed towards discussing myself, discovering myself as completely fulfilled and complete. Those are the two, paths. Don't mistake them. Let us not mistake them for Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. These are not lifestyles. Even though it says Vishuchi path, and Adi Shankara also uses Pathi in the path, in the Bhashya we will see in the next 2-3 verses. But here it's very clear that Prayas is not the one who is after Prayas is not a Karma Yogi. So Karma Yogi means once if one has committed to this knowledge, one is already on the left hand side road. Yes, that is what one has to understand. When we come back, we will see the Bhashya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Okay.